South.
A church has been vandalized in Mangaluru in coastal Karnataka. Unidentified miscreants pelted stones and broke window panes. Though the police say that prima facie it looks like an act of mischief, they have registered a case to explore every angle. Only last week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that no religious group will be allowed to incite hatred and that his government will act strongly against all forms of religious violence.
ಓವರಾಲ್ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸುದೀರ್ಘವಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವ್ಯಾಪಿ ಉದ್ದಗಲಕ್ಕೂ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಶಾಂತಿಯುತವಾದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಎದೆಗಟ್ಟಲು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಬ್ಯಾನರಿಗೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಇಂಥ ಕಲ್ಲು ಬಿಸಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಕೆಲವಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈಕಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಕಟೆ ಮಾಡಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ಸೋದಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಈ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ.
Joining me now from Bengaluru is Archbishop of Bengaluru, Bernard Moras. Also Rohini Swami, my colleague, joins me from Bengaluru. Archbishop Bernard Moras, yet another attack on a Christian institution, this time a church in Mangaluru. Do you see this as part of a campaign to instill fear in the community?
First, Mangalore, I would say, the center, certain amount of Christianity in South Canada, in South India. Mangalore is known for its services. Large number of institutions are there. And recently, Mangalore also, maybe politically, it had not, the people who are attacked had not gained their power. And this is why it is indirectly attacking the Christianity, you were not with us. And this is why attack on the church and the faith itself, Christianity itself.
Right, Rohini, what is the police in Mangaluru telling you? This comes on the back of the churches being attacked and vandalized in Delhi. Also remember, in September 2008, the church which was vandalized in Mangaluru when the BJP government was in power. So what are the angles that the police is pursuing?
Well, initially the police have filed a case saying that it could be an act of mischief. But based on the details that have been given by the people who are in that particular church, because what they have also found is a lot of remnants of cigarettes and other things in that area, especially around possibly the angle in which the stones could have been thrown. That has led to possibly the police also looking at vandalism as one option. But they're also saying that they do not have, they cannot pinpoint who the miscreants could be. But they're looking at multiple angles. Also, I'd like to bring another point is what the Archbishop also said is that now they're looking at, especially churches across South India and especially in Karnataka, they're looking at installing CCTV cameras now so that in case such kind of incidents take place, they can at least record the incident and bring the miscreants to book.
Right, Rohini Swami, thanks a lot for joining us. Archbishop Bernard Moras, we will come back to you for another story which is coming from Kerala. But staying with news from Karnataka, 2 persons have been arrested in connection with the attack on a student who had actually posed with a group of his classmates at a college in Surathkal in coastal Karnataka, and that photograph had gone viral and that invited the ire of several groups in Surathkal in coastal Karnataka. But the ABVP, we are told, has asked the college principal to debar the students who were part of that picture.
ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇವರು ಭಾಗಿಯಾರೋದು ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಖಚಿತವಾಗಿದೆ. ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಭಾಗಿಯಾರೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರಂತ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಸೂಕ್ತ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಿಂದೂ ಸಮಾಜೋತ್ಸವದ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತ್ ಮೇಲಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೀನ್ವೈಲ್ ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರೀಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಅಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗನೆ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Pratibha Ravan, my colleague from Bengaluru, who has been tracking the stories with us live from Bengaluru. Pratibha, it would seem strange that the future of these students is being harmed for a rather harmless photograph, and the moral police brigade seems to be having the upper hand, at least in this case at the moment.
Well, that's right. In fact, this has been the case for quite some time now, especially the kind of authority that the fringe groups like ABVP activists do have. But then in order to ensure that since the matter is sub judice now, the principal thought it best to actually suspend these students for a while until this whole case comes to rest. That is number one. But the second part of it is that based on the 2 arrests that have been made, clues are there in order to nab the others as well. So there is a team that has been formed to look out for the others who are part of this group that has attacked the students. In the meantime, they have also promised protection for the student who's been attacked, as well as the person in question who was found sleeping on the lap of the other girls, especially in the picture if you actually take a close look at it. They have offered protection for that, as well as make sure that these culprits will be brought to book. Sudhir.
Right. Pratibha Raman, thanks a lot for joining us on that story coming from Surathkal in coastal Karnataka. Now, when the agitation for a separate Telangana was on, K. Chandrasekhar Rao of the Telangana Rashtra Samiti had made a promise that he will offer gold ornaments to different deities in different temples of then Andhra Pradesh. And now that a separate Telangana, the wish has been fulfilled, he wants to fulfill that promise. Now, fair enough, but the problem is that it is the government of Telangana which is being made to shell out money to fulfill the Chief Minister's wish. 5.59 crore rupees is the amount that will be spent by the Telangana government. Of this, 5 crore rupees will be spent on the offering of a necklace to the presiding deity at Tirumala, and the remaining 59 lakh rupees will be spent on 4 different temples, one in Tirupati, one in Vijayawada and 2 in Warangal district. Joining me now is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Government of Telangana, Srinivas Gaud, also Congress leader and someone who has taken part in the agitation quite actively. Krishank also joins me from Hyderabad. Mr. Srinivas Gaud, I have with me these 2 government orders which have been issued yesterday by the government of Telangana, sanctioning this huge amount of 5.59 crore rupees going to the 5 temples in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now, if this was a personal wish made by K. Chandrasekhar Rao, why should the Telangana government spend such a huge amount? Because after all, 5.59 crore rupees is not a small amount, you would agree.
No, this is not the personal issue of the Telangana Chief Minister. This word is a totally public word है, पब्लिक के लिए कर रहे हैं उन्होंने, हर एक चीज भी को जो कर रहे वो पूरे भी तेलंगाना पब्लिक के लिए कर रहे, पब्लिक अच्छा रहना बोल के कर रहे, वो प्रे करे सो भी तेलंगाना के लिए करे, मगर उसका पर्सनल इश्यू नहीं होता, हर एक पैसे टैक्स पेस कराता हूँगा, मगर अब हर एक पैसे भी तेलंगाना डेवलपमेंट के लिए उन्होंने कर रहा, ऐसा भगवान का ऐसा करे तो तेलंगाना का अच्छा करना बोल के उन्होंने कर रहा, मगर उन्होंने अच्छा करना बोल के ऐसा नहीं कर रहा.
Right. Krishank, as someone who took part in this agitation, how do you react to the fact that your money, my money, the taxpayers' money is being used to fulfill a personal promise made by K. Chandrasekhar Rao during the agitation?
Not at all. This is absurd because we are seeing that Telangana state is in a crisis. The crisis of where Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao is spending money for swanky cars for the police and at the same time for the shifting of secretariats and skyscrapers and selling away lands to increase revenue. At this point of time, it is clearly understood that there is a financial crisis, and definitely we can accept that yes, spirituality is can be accepted, but it is not on for a person, because this is involved with the money of Telangana people, Telangana citizens, and it cannot go away on someone's personal interests. If he really wants to pay those money, he can pay it from his pockets, but not from the government's revenue.
So Krishank, what you're essentially suggesting is that the taxpayers' money should be spent on the people of Telangana rather than the gods in different temples in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh or anywhere else in the country.
Absolutely, because the people have participated in the Telangana agitation because they believed that KCR can give results. Those results have to be shown rather than trying to please gods. Definitely gods are with Telangana people, and that is why Telangana has become a reality. But before pleasing the gods, he has to please and to see that people of Telangana survive and come out of poverty, come out of darkness, because there is shortage of electricity, and see that when 5 years of, if KCR is remaining as the Chief Minister for 5 years, then when there is no deficit and when we have surplus of financial budget, then definitely KCR can please gods. But now see that proper administration and proper economic equality happens in Telangana.
Mr. Gaud, the same question to you. Don't you think the gods in different temples in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh would perhaps be more happy if the money was spent, say, on the welfare of farmers or of that of the poor in the state of Telangana?
नो वो कर रहे, फार्मर्स के लिए कर रहे, गरीब लोगों के लिए कर रहे, शादी मुबारक कर रहे, गरीब बच्चों को शादी के लिए कर रहे, और पेंशन के वेलफेयर स्कीम्स, पेंशन इससे पहले 200 था, आज 1000 रुपीज दे रहे, और स्कूल में चावल अच्छा चावल दे रहे, उसको पॉकेट मनी के लिए कर रहे, वेलफेयर स्कीम ज्यादा दे रहे। थ्रोट 60 ईयर्स में एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं आया सो पैसे, आज रोड्स के लिए पूरे तेलंगाना में, एक महिमनाथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 2500 करोड़, नलगोंडा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 3000 करोड़, ऐसा 1 लाख बजट हम लोग ये कर रहे। इसमें क्या है, 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ 3 करोड़ बोलते तो बहुत ये नहीं होता, ये भी भगवान के लिए करना बोल के कर रहे, मगर उसका पर्सनल के लिए करे नहीं होता, वेलफेयर के लिए पर एक चीज कर रहे, और करने के भी है, वो लैंड भी दे रहे SC ST को, और माइनॉरिटीज के लिए भी फंड 100 करोड़ फंड है, और सुसाइड कर हमारा विरला के लिए उन लोग भी पैसे है, पूरे कर रहे, उसमें पार्ट ऑफ द ये भी पार्ट ऑफ है।
Right. The jury is still out on this one. Meanwhile, the richest temple in the world, the Tirumala temple, will get richer by 5 crore rupees more. Mr. Srinivas Gaud and Krishank, thanks a lot for joining us on Up South. Now, the church in Kerala has asked the devout to observe a cyber fast on Good Friday. Basically, they are saying that on that day, the devout should abstain from using television or any form of social media. The church authorities say that this is an effort to dissuade the members from using Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and WhatsApp, and of course, the use of cell phone and television. Archbishop Bernard Morris is still with us from Bengaluru. Also, digital media expert Kiruba Shankar joining us from Chennai. Archbishop Bernard Morris, what's really the idea behind doing this kind of a cyber fast on Good Friday?
Let me tell you, in the season of Lent, church appeals, especially the Christians, for prayer, fasting and charity, works of mercy. And now, when we say works of mercy, works of charity, as well as prayer and fasting, today we do not think only of doling out something. It has to change yourself, bring closer to God and closer to others. And this is what church appeals, that we have to give up something in our life, not just money or service, but things that changes. And Cyber Lent today, using all these means, will also have a control over our life, our way of looking at things,
right,
our way of lifestyle, and control it for the sake of God, sake of others. And I would think it's a good movement that has come in, because today use of all these mobiles and many other things is ruining our life.
Right. Kiruba Shankar, as someone who consumes all different forms of digital media, how do you react to this idea of a cyber fast?
Cyberfast as a concept, I think, is really nice, because just look at our everyday lives. I think we have too much of technology riding us. We are constantly, we are using our laptops, and we can't live without our smartphones. If the internet goes down, life seems to come to a complete stop. I think we are becoming a little addicted, and I think we're becoming a slave of technology. I think cyber fasting as a concept really encourages us to step back, switch off our devices, step away, and really lead a life minus technologies. I think it cleanses our system, just like how we fast regularly, you know. So I think that's a kind of a good way. And during this period of Lent is amazing, because it gives you just that excuse for you to follow this fast.
Right. Kiruba Shankar, interesting that you say that. Archbishop Bernard Morris, you also frown upon selfies, and it's strange that you say that at a time when presence on social media has almost become a way of life. How would you react to that?
I would not say disconnect. It is true, it has become a way of life. But we have an obligation to tell our young generation, our youth, that we should have a control of our life. We should know what to use at what time and why. And then only we would be able to plan our life accordingly and steer it. And this is the way the season of Lent gives us a call. And I would say it's a spiritual enrichment from our life, going closer to God and closer to our people.
The Hyderabad police have arrested 2 members who are associated with the Telugu film industry and 4 Nigerians for being in possession of 90 grams of cocaine and 400 grams of ganja. The Telugu film director Sushant Reddy's yet-to-be-released film, Superstar Kidnap, is his debut film. Questions are now being raised over whether many other members of the film industry are also in touch with these Nigerian drug peddlers.
Basically, he may be the film actor. Particularly, we should not blame the only film. This fellow is a consumer. Basically, he is a needy person. He habituated for that. He consumed. He purchased the packet.
It's quite strange that a police describes a drug consumer as a needy person. And finally, what does the film industry expect from the union budget, which will be presented by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley this Saturday? My colleague Pratibha Raman spoke to Kannada film actor Bhavna.
For the labour slot of labour segment people, they don't have any such provisions by the government so far. So it will be really, really nice, at least all of us, including actors and the labour class, if we are considered for the bank loan. There's nothing like that because we've been blacklisted in the banking sector though.
Bhavna says that if the government invests little in developing vernacular cinema, it will self-generate enough opportunities to feed many ancillary units around it, generating employment and bettering life of many.
If they take off the entertainment tax, I think then the burden on the producer will be much more lighter, because no producer will have any idea what's the revenue he's going to make out of his investment. The investment can be any number, but then you have no idea whether you're actually gaining that money back. Even the principal money, the principal amount may not be guaranteed.
The southern film industry has time and again expected a lot from the government, even hoping that the Prime Minister's bonhomie with Rajnikant will go beyond the photo op.
Karnataka, if they create a one window for all the whole processing, clearance of the police permission, clearance of Gram Panchayat, clearance of all this BBMP, if that all happens, the whole processing happens for the shooting purpose, under one roof, I think that's going to be, again, it's going to be really, really good for us. It's going to be, we'll also have a more professional approach for it.